Hi, it's Peculus here. I saw a really disturbing news story in my on the weekend. It came in on a news feed that I follow sometimes, and it was a gentleman out of Chicago who, I don't know what he was protesting, but apparently he was protesting something, and the way he chose to protest was that he galloped his horse down a major highway, sort of blocking traffic and things to draw attention to whatever cause it was that he was interested in promoting. And by the time they caught up to him or were able to stop him, he had gone about 7.5 miles apparently, galloping this horse down a highway on the hard ground. So not only was he arrested and charged with all sorts of things about, obstructing traffic or whatever, but he was also charged with being cruelty to animals because his horse apparently, well, his legs were bleeding, I imagine from fatigue injuries where the horse started to interfere and hit himself with his own legs. Then he was really, really dehydrated. And anyway, they have the horse now somewhere safe, and the veterinarians that are looking at it are saying that they may have to euthanize the horse because the damage is so severe, and that the chances of the horse, like he'll never be ridden again, but that he'll be in chronic discomfort for the rest of his life. So it sounds to me probably like he just got really badly foundered galloping down a hard road. And I don't know, I just felt sick to read that article. And there's only two reasons that something like that can happen. Either someone is evil and so uncaring and so of the opinion that a horse is just a machine to be used up and discarded, or we can be more charitable and say that they don't know any better. Now, apparently some of his friends were interviewed, and they say that there's no way he would ever do anything to hurt his horse, that he loved his horse. So we have to go with he didn't know any better. And over the years, it's been my experience that I'm very lucky. Most of the people that I meet are wonderful to horses and things, but in 35 years, sometimes you see different things. And one of the things you almost ever see, I'm sure it exists and I'm sure it happens, but one of the things you almost never see is cruelty to horses rarely is somebody walking up to a horse and hitting him over the head with a 2x4. That's not the kind of cruelty that we see, generally speaking. The kind of cruelty that I've seen over the years is just from people not knowing any better. I guess that's what this falls under that category, I guess. I don't know how you couldn't know that the horse is exhausted and that he's doing such damage to himself, but I guess it's possible. I remember as a young girl, my very first horse show, and I was sitting there on the horse, and the judge was just coming down the row of us that were all sitting on our horses waiting, and the judge was asking all of the riders a question, and I guess that the idea was to break a tie or something. I don't remember exactly. So I was listening. I'm sitting on my horse. I'm listening, and and the judge is saying, to one of the kids, what color is your horse? And I'm going, okay, I'd have that one. I've got that one. Or what breed is your horse? Okay, I got that. Is it a male or a female? And what do you call that? Okay, I got that. I'm thinking to myself, my question is probably going to be parts of the saddle or something. I got that, right? So I'm sitting there on the horse, and the judge comes to me, and it's my turn. I'm all excited, right? And she looks at me and she goes, and what is a bog spavin? And I remember I'm sitting there on the horse. I said, I'm sorry, pardon? She goes, what is a bog spavin? And her saying it twice didn't help me at all. I had no idea. And I remember after the horse show being so despondent about this that I didn't know this. And I remember the next time I went to a library, which, because it was no internet back in those days, right? So I had to wait till I could get to a library, and then I had to try to find horse books in a library, which it was a small town library, so there wasn't much, and to finally try to figure out and track down what a bog spavin was. But I remember at the time thinking, wow, there's a lot about these things I didn't know, and it sort of became a mission in my life to know enough that somebody could sort of stump me with a what is a bog spavin question. And the more you learn about horses, the more interesting it gets, right? And the more you realize and appreciate how wonderful they are. And so that's why, 35 years ago when I started my business, our mission statement, so to speak, has always been that the kindest treatment of the horse is gained through knowledge. And I used to think maybe people thought that was pretentious or something, but it was never meant to be. It just means, for us, it just means that we want to know as much about the horse as humanly possible so that we can do right by the horse. And it might have been nice if that guy in Chicago had thought of it that way too, and maybe his horse wouldn't have suffered so much. So anyway, that's it for this week. We're coming up to our October 1st, which is our 35th anniversary. And my mission statement that the kindest treatment of the horse is gained through knowledge has stood up pretty good for these last 35 years and another 35 years going forward, hopefully. Anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate you watching. Wherever you are, have a great week. Remember to thank your horse, and we'll see you next time.